One more thing which you might have seen is that we have scheduled all the tasks, but are we not going to monitor our project? Will not meet, the team will not meet and discuss project issues. Where the time of the project managers of planning tracking will go, because if you see here, project manager is hardly acting on any of those things. If you look at it, basically all are technical activities. None of them are project management activities. So what do you do? Basically, if you see the planning, team meeting, tracking, governance, all these are recurring tasks, reoccurring tasks, keep happening. They are not in sequence like these project activities, but they are keep happening all the time on a regular basis. Maybe you have a like project status week, or say like every like twice a month, something like that, right? The thing is that whatever the time you are spending on these activities, where that time is attending that, normally critical resources attend such meetings. Now he has fully occupied with other things. Just see that how if he attends meeting, how he will going to cope up with his work. If we do not account these meetings, we will run with we are running with the danger that the people will be involved in some activities and spend time, and we still expect them to do the time whatever allocated here as scheduled. Now, to understand this situation and to mitigate this kind of risk, otherwise your most of the tasks will be delayed because the people will be attending meeting or doing some regular stuff, which is also required some time. So what we do, we learn here that how to schedule these recurring tasks so that we schedule them, not only schedule them, but also see that how much they are costing to us, how many people are involved, how much time we are spending, and we can optimize our time for such activities. So let's see that we have a common scenario is a project status meeting. So let's try to schedule a project status meeting here. So if you see here in this insert, you have a task, and if you, this is a drop down basically. If you come over here, you see there is a recurring task, right? If you click on this, a dialog box will open. Now this dialog box is somewhat looks like an Outlook meeting. Now what is expect the name of the task, which is, let's say, project status meeting, right? The second is the duration of the task, maybe 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever it is. Let's say 2 hour. Is it a weekly? Is it a monthly? How much? If it is monthly, then when it should be. If it is weekly, then when it should be. If it is it's bi-weekly, like fortnightly, then after every 2 weeks. Recur every 2 weeks. Or if it is monthly, we can come over here and say on which day we want to have this, third Monday or this, whatever it is. So let's see, we have a weekly meeting and we select on, say, Monday or Friday or Tuesday. And if we select on Monday, it suggests project start and project end date for this meeting. Now, some recurring tasks may not be from beginning to end, but project status meeting is a task which goes throughout the project timeline. Then we need to take this default choice, that is what is offered by this project, because we want project status meeting should happen from begin to the end. So let's say okay. You see here, you see 16. It shows that from this date to this date, if you do every week, there will be 16 occurrences. Let's say okay. You see a summary level task is inserted with 16 recurrences. Your job becomes simple. One task adding and all the 16 recurrences are scheduled. If you see the Gantt chart, you see that every week it is scheduled on Monday. You see, every week it is scheduled on Monday. Now the second thing is that who will attend this meeting? So projects which are technical in nature normally, but insert it anyway. Here this summary level task, so that those resources get assigned to all the tasks here, all the recurrences. So we select this, go to the resource, say assign resources, and select who will attend these tasks, these meetings. Who will attend this meeting? Say project manager, say architect, say business analyst, say technical analyst, tech lead, or say test lead. This is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 people in meeting. If I assign, they get assigned to all the resources. Now let me do it and let me reward this action. You see here the work is absolutely 0 and 2 hours are defined because they are not effort driven, they are duration driven. Irrespective of how many people going to attend meeting, the meeting will remain for 2 hours. So it's a example of duration driven task, not the effort driven task. When we assign this previous case, we assign work, and when we assign the effort driven task. And you see here that every task has a constraint applied to it. Because on these meetings, not incident of 2 hours meeting. 2 hours meeting is isolated. The task will continue to be like that. They do not depend upon these meetings. Therefore, these are isolated and these constraints are applied on this, because this will happen on Monday on a particular time and may either happen or may not happen. You also see that many tasks have these red marks. These are showing that the people who are fully allocated, now you have scheduled and 2 hours of meeting. So there were 8 hours already allocated. Now 2 hours here, then it was working on these tasks get over allocated now because they were fully allocated. So normally what I suggest people that in a normal project, when you are executing the project, you cannot schedule each and everything in MS project. So do not try to do that also. You always see that some ad hoc tasks will keep coming up, some regular tasks will keep coming up, some kind of meeting will be scheduled for them. Now, if you see in the real scenario, when such tasks come, like ad hoc task, meeting, etc., your most critical or most costly or most important resources normally end up doing all those tasks. You don't assign those tasks to any junior resource. You have assigned them to senior resource. They may take help from some junior resource, but normally you assign it to them. So what I normally suggest people, do not fully allocate your senior people or critical resources or important resources in your project. Keep some space for them. Do not allocate them more than 80% in your project. If you do so, I'm sure you will, after 1 month or so, you will see a list of tasks pending on them. Their allocated tasks are like they get postponed, they will not finish on time. You will be struggling with those people because they will be doing those tasks as well as the other tasks. So keep them free for some time for these things, and then exactly has happened here. These tasks will get delayed. It is done what when we do the resource labeling, right? This is how you can schedule recurring tasks. You can schedule project planning, you can schedule project tracking, you can schedule governance calls, you can schedule other meetings or other recurring things which are happening in your project. You will come to know that they take significant amount of time from people, especially if you see project manager, he will be mostly working on such tasks. If these tasks are not scheduled in the project plan, you will see that all those efforts get unaccounted. These are the project efforts. So for them, we should go resource uses view and see who are the people allocated. Business analyst is over allocated. Where you go through it, even on one day this person is over allocated, he will become red. So you see here 10, he was already allocated for business requirement, 2 hours of status meetings also come to this. And therefore, you become over allocated. Technical analyst, the reason is same. The reason is same, only one day. That may not be a major issue because only 2 hours it could be a problem. You see here 14 hours, 6. That is multiple tasks assigned to him. He is working together, both on together, because we have parallel. We have done something parallel. Working on weekends. Designer is in real soup. He's going to resign very soon. Okay, architect got allocated 5 hours because he is 50% available, so he allocated only 1 hour here. This need correction actually. Okay, programmer 1, programmer 2, program tech lead is also. So how we will label these resources? How? Because if this is the situation, then I'm sure your project timeline will not met. That is for sure. Because so many people are over allocated, they will not be able to complete the job. So what will happen? This is a situation like this. Current situation is like that. This is the project and your resources are allocated. Normally resource should get allocated like this, but in this case it is not. It is like this. It is like this. This is over allocation. It should be like this straight line. This should be like this. So this thickness which has come into the project because of over allocation, what you need to do is you need to push them down, push them down, push them up here. So when you press this, when you reduce the thickness, what will happen? When you reduce the thickness, what will happen? Because the volume is same, your project will extend. The project end date will move further because this thickness. But in this Gantt chart, the row are allocated to resources, not to tasks. And you see so many, almost everyone is over allocated, looks like, except few people. You see all these red, wherever you seeing red, they are over allocation. How are you going to remove this over allocation is by doing resource leveling. Like this view is the most important view for resource leveling. Earlier, in up to 2007 version, this view was not available. When it was not available, we were suggesting people to do resource leveling completely manually. Do not use, because at that time resource leveling means either complete resource leveling or no resource leveling. Changes in the project schedule that it's become very difficult to understand what has happened. But here you can do one by one. You say, I want to label only business analyst right now. Let's start with business analyst. Select business analyst and say label this resource. If you want to label all, you just go here and say label all. It will make so many changes, becomes very difficult to understand. So we will do one by one. This interactive mode is available only in 2010. This feature is not available. This feature is also not available in standard version. It is available only in professional version. I don't know what is the reason. Why Microsoft has done so? Because I don't see any valid reason for keeping so, but maybe a sale point. Now you say label the resource. You see it will find a place here. It is breaking the business requirement and pushing these things. Manually it is next to impossible. Manually doing so is next to impossible. If I go here in the resource uses view, and go to the business analyst, you see that becomes 6 hours. It has moved here, it is moved here, and now here it is 3 hours in this. So this 2 hours have overflown to this date. So the date might have changed, which was finishing here will now finish on this date. This which supposed to start, this again supposed to start here only. So this date will pushed, because otherwise your project this task would have over on Wednesday. This is how it's going to impact. I say let's do this. Now here the designer. What do you do? Architect and design. We have intentionally done this over allocation by doing a fast tracking. If this fast tracking is not possible, I will say don't do it here. Go to the Gantt chart and say this, get another person to do this. Allocate to architecture some other person. He can do some other person to assist him. So I will say in the architecture, let reassign this to, right? If I reassign this to tech lead, this task will go to architect and as well as tech lead, and this over allocation will go away. This is a better way. This is an interactive way of doing resource labeling. So what I will do here, instead of, because this parallelism we has bought, I don't want to, I do not want it get pushed. If I say resource labeling, it get pushed, which is against our intention. So what I will do, I will select architecture, right click on it, go to reassign and reassign to tech lead. Let tech lead assist architect in building the architecture. Or I can assign it to technical analyst also. Let's assign it to technical analyst. So I assign it to technical analyst. This task move to this place, right? Now here is the allocation because of this. So I will select here and okay, this is done. Now this over allocation will not go away because we have asked people to come on weekend, and therefore they are over allocated, but because we have intentionally done this, this will not go away. We have to live with this over allocation. But this is fine because we have intentionally done it. Here also, let's select this because insert making a space for this meeting is very difficult. I will simply use the auto mode. Now here programmer 1 is doing two jobs. One is the script creation and coding as well. Can I script creation, can I assign it to programmer 3? Will that be fine? I think we can do that. If we cannot do that, then one of the tasks has to be shifted. If I select this and do auto labeling, it will postpone the task which is coming later. It will postpone the task which is coming later. Or so script writing is coming later, it will postpone. Is it impacting our project schedule? Script is here, right? We are still okay because our execution will have a view, select table and select schedule. You see a float of 23 days still. Earlier it was even more. Still we can delay it by 23 days without impacting the project end date. So it is absolutely fine with us. So we'll go here. It has moved the script to after the unit testing, which is fine with us because it is not impacting our project end date, and we can live with it. Now here also there are two tasks happening for programmer 2, coding as well as code review. If we do this here,
Vivek, where did you see the float?
okay, you see I selected a table, view table, schedule. In the schedule set column and say free Slack or project Slack, project total Slack. You can insert showing negative float 1.17 days. It is because for deadline this and showing negative float that we are it's not a good idea because it will move the whole coding of the programmer 1, right? Because the rework depend upon this and our module will not be finished. Right? So what we can do, either assign it to somebody else or manually change this. So we can manually make a space for this. How much? It is a 16 hours, 2 hours, 2 days of work. So we can manually make a space for it. Because it will, if we do the label resource, it will go after unit testing, which is not a good idea. Or assign it to somebody else who is free. Programmer 3 is free, You just put this and move it to programmer with JavaScript. Or if you think it has to be done with the programmer too, you keep it, but make a space for it by going into the programmer. Okay, so this is code review, this is coding. Making it 0 and 0 and shifting it here like 8 by 8. Not a good idea as such, but you can do so. But if you have any other method to do, you can do that. Because this takes a lot of time. This is not a, I do not recommend this kind of thing. Better you assign it to somebody else so that things should continue. Okay, here I think it is simple. You can just label it. Here also it is simple. You just label it. Here it is simple. You label it. Here also you can. Like this will not. This will be labeled. Okay. So either this or this. So select both of them. So you see, because they are working on the same task, either this gets scheduled or this. So select this and this both together and then label, and your job is done. Your date changed or not? Just accept. I think that was the earlier also. So even after you have, because you have lot of float in the project, the float is working well. It's 5:10 in my clock, and yes,
Vivek,
yeah.
so when you were doing the labeling,
Yeah.
You are selecting the resource name and then level resource, and
Right.
it will level all the occurrences wherever there is red, or we should select area by area. Wherever we see there's a problem, we should select that space and then we should level resource.
No. We are, it is select, if we are using this level resource, then it label the resource. So we select the.
So wherever it says.
Yeah, it does. Otherwise, you have to do it manually, like I showed you.
Is it also possible on the same view? Is it also possible rather than selecting the resource name, we select the red area? Like in this case, high level design, for example. If we select this and then we do level resource.
No, that's not the case. It's not possible. At least I don't know. I haven't seen this because this view is actually new. So maybe more modifications they will bring it, but right now it is not.
Yeah, although it's good on one click, it is leveling entire project for that particular resource. However, at so many places we will make change and will not be able to control again wherever we might not want to make a change at some places.
Right. So it could be a mix of like labeling is normally a tough job. I tell you, it's a time consuming and tough job. And so therefore I sometimes I tell people that if some over allocation, you go on a this is labeling on a day-to-day basis. So if any day you have like 10 days and the next day it is this person is free, it will still show the over allocation. You can go on a weekly, your minimum granularity can be a week instead of day. So you see that on Monday he's over allocated, on Wednesday he's over allocated, but overall allocation in a week is not more than 40 hours. Then actually he will complete the job within that week, right? So within that week he can complete his job. Therefore, on a week basis, if you see, he is not over allocated. Though on the day-to-day basis, he could be over allocated.
Thinking from same scenario.
Yeah. So some red is acceptable. Sorry.
Vivek, can we see the weekly view? So what is the weekly allocation for him? For any week wise as well?
In this week wise? No, it is a simple allocation. So week is this.
Okay.
This is a week. This is simple. It is showing. So this is a week basically.
No, the way we saw that the days by allocation more than
You need
8 hours. So
you need to go to the resource uses and see here that how the person is allocated. So this is anyway like this programmer 2. Like he is over allocated here. It means this task will not finish here, but it will finish here. Simple thing is this. Okay. Therefore, this will also get pushed. Right?
So one important while doing the planning in same case, so keep the 80-90% allocation, so that may help. So
yeah, always do that. I say your critical resources, keep some time, some space for them, because they do several unplanned work also, and you can't plan everything actually.
And if you have a so tight schedule, so if any resource goes on leave, unwanted thing happens, that's become very difficult to manage the task, because you have to do the entire planning again.
Yeah.
So you have done so many things, difficult to all repeat everything.
That's right.
So need a good practice is required.
Yeah, labeling is always a little difficult job. It consumes a lot of time. So right. So it is 5:15 in my clock. So let's take a break and come after half an hour. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this will zoom at 5:45 p.m. IST after half an hour. Right, so let's come back and then continue here. What we're going to cover is the tracking and the reporting part. Okay, so should we move?